Tonight, let us sail back more than 3,000 years to a time of heroes, gods, and one of the most famous wars ever told. It's called the Trojan War. This is not just a story of battles. It is about choices, pride, love, friendship, and fate. It is about kings and queens, mothers and fathers, warriors and dreamers. The story was first told in poems and songs by ancient Greek poets. The most famous are Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, written nearly 2,800 years ago. But tonight, we will tell it as a long, gentle bedtime story, easy to follow, with every name explained, so you can simply relax and drift along. Close your eyes and imagine the sound of waves against the shore, the flicker of a fire, and a storyteller's calm voice. The Trojan War began not with a battle, but with a wedding feast. A sea goddess named Thetis was marrying a mortal man named Peleus. Their son would one day be Achilles, the greatest Greek warrior. The gods of Olympus, Zeus, Hera, Athena, Aphrodite, and many more were all invited to the wedding. But one goddess was left out, Eris, the goddess of strife and quarrels. Angry, she came anyway and tossed a golden apple among the guests. On the apple she wrote, "For the fairest." 3 goddesses claimed it. Hera, queen of the gods and wife of Zeus, she represented power and royal authority. Athena, goddess of wisdom, war strategy, and learning. Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty. They argued fiercely. Zeus, the king of the gods, did not want to choose between them, so he sent them to a mortal prince, Paris of Troy. Paris was the son of King Priam and Queen Hecuba of Troy, a wealthy city in Asia Minor, modern Turkey. He was known for his fairness and gentle nature. Each goddess offered him a gift if he chose her. Hera promised him power and kingship over great lands. Athena promised him wisdom and victory in every battle. Aphrodite promised him the love of the most beautiful woman in the world. Paris thought carefully. At last he chose Aphrodite and gave her the golden apple. With that choice, the seeds of the Trojan War were planted. The woman Aphrodite had promised was Helen, known even then as Helen of Sparta. Helen was the daughter of Zeus in myth and Queen Leda, and was said to be the most beautiful woman alive. Poets later wrote, "the face that launched 1,000 ships." She was married to King Menelaus of Sparta, a powerful Greek ruler. Menelaus loved her deeply and was proud of his queen. When Paris traveled to Sparta, he was welcomed as a guest, but with Aphrodite's influence, Helen left with Paris and sailed to Troy. Some say she was enchanted by the goddess. Others say she went willingly. Either way, her departure enraged Menelaus. Menelaus turned to his brother Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, the most powerful Greek leader. Together they called upon all the Greek kings and princes who had once sworn an oath to defend Helen's marriage. The Greek leaders who answered the call became legends. Agamemnon, commander of all the Greeks, proud, ambitious, and determined to win glory. Menelaus, Helen's husband, who sought to bring her back and punish Troy. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, clever and resourceful, more famous for his mind than his sword. Nestor, the wise old king of Pylos, who advised the younger warriors. Ajax, the great, a giant of a man, second only to Achilles in strength. Diomedes, fierce in battle and favored by Athena. Achilles, son of Thetis and Peleus, unmatched in speed and skill, but proud and quick to anger. Agamemnon gathered a fleet so large that poets claimed it had 1,000 ships. The Greeks prepared to cross the Aegean Sea and lay siege to Troy, but the winds were still. A seer said the goddess Artemis was angry, and only a sacrifice would please her. Agamemnon, in a terrible choice, gave up his daughter, Iphigenia. The winds rose and the fleet sailed. Let us pause and meet the Trojans, who would defend their city for 10 long years. King Priam, wise and gentle, beloved by his people. Queen Hecuba, strong in sorrow, mother of many children. Hector, eldest son, commander of the Trojan army, noble and brave. Paris, whose choice began it all, handsome but not as strong as Hector. Cassandra, a daughter gifted with prophecy by Apollo, but cursed so no one would believe her. Aeneas, a cousin of the royal family, destined to survive and later become a hero in Roman stories. Troy itself was rich and strong. Its walls, said to have been built by gods, towered high and kept the city safe. Behind them, people lived in prosperity. The Greeks landed and surrounded Troy. Battles raged on the plains between the city walls and the Greek ships. For 9 years, the fighting continued. Sometimes the Greeks won ground, sometimes the Trojans pushed them back. The gods themselves took sides. Hera and Athena favored the Greeks, still angry at Paris. Aphrodite and Apollo favored the Trojans. Zeus tried to stay above the conflict but could not resist his children's pleas. The war was not endless slaughter. Often there were truces, duels between champions, feasts and negotiations, but year after year no side could claim victory. The Greeks' greatest warrior, Achilles, was key to their success, but pride brought disaster. Agamemnon insulted Achilles by taking from him a prize of honor, a woman captured in war. Achilles, furious, withdrew from battle and refused to fight. Without him, the Greeks faltered. The Trojans, led by Hector, pressed hard and burned Greek ships. Achilles' closest companion, Patroclus, begged to help. He put on Achilles' shining armor and led the Greeks into battle. For a while the Trojans believed Achilles had returned, but Hector killed Patroclus. When Achilles learned of his friend's death, grief consumed him. His rage returned, and he rejoined the battle. The duel between Hector and Achilles is one of the most famous moments of the war. Hector stood before the gates of Troy, knowing his fate but refusing to hide. Achilles, burning with fury, struck him down. In his anger, Achilles dishonored Hector's body, dragging it behind his chariot. But later, King Priam came secretly to the Greek camp. He knelt before Achilles and begged for his son's body. Achilles, moved by the old king's sorrow, returned Hector for burial. For a brief moment, enemies shared their grief as fathers and sons. Still, Troy stood strong. Its walls had not fallen. At last, the cunning of Odysseus found a way. The Greeks built a huge wooden horse, hollow inside. They left it on the shore and sailed away, pretending to abandon the war. The Trojans debated what to do. Cassandra warned it was a trap, but as always no one believed her. They brought the horse inside as a trophy. That night, Greek warriors hidden within climbed out, opened the gates, and signaled their fleet to return. The Greeks stormed into the city. Troy burned, Priam was killed. The people were scattered, and Helen, whose beauty had sparked it all, was taken back to Greece. The Trojan War ended, but its stories lived forever. Some heroes never returned home. Odysseus wandered for 10 years more, facing monsters and gods before reaching Ithaca. Aeneas fled Troy and, according to Roman legend, became an ancestor of Rome's founders. The war taught lessons of pride, fate, and the power of choices. And now, as the firelight fades, picture the ruins of Troy under starlight. The voices of warriors are silent. Only the wind whispers through the stones. The story of the Trojan War is not just about victory or defeat. It is about human hearts, love and jealousy, bravery and sorrow, mistakes and forgiveness. Rest now, with those echoes fading into dreams. Good night.